Welcome in, little pups. I assume you're a fan of Pokemon card artwork and want to know more about single cards. This is your place. Today, I will attempt to present you some cards that are low in price, can look great in a collection, and at the same time have upside potential in monetary value. Because yes, I believe you can enjoy collecting cards and also at the same time enjoy seeing them rise in price. Before we begin, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribed and checked out my livestream content where I open Pokemon cards. Let's get to it. Today, we're going to be starting from vintage to modern instead of from modern to vintage just to see how it goes. As you can see right now, we have Charmander on the screen, base set, first edition, shadowless or regular. Remember that Charmander was one of the most impacted cards in the vintage explosion in 2020, 2021. One of the big factors was a influencer called Logan Paul. He hasn't shown himself in quite a while, and vintage has been calm, but the thing is that one of the biggest live streamers in the space, Aiden Ross, did do a live stream with him recently, opening up a base set regular booster box, and they did threaten with doing a live stream of a first edition booster box, and they said they were gonna plan it to be big and stuff like that. Now, I'm not trying to hype this thing up. I'm just a small channel. I'm just trying to tell you guys, you know, prior to that happening, what could possibly happen is if there is a really well-planned event opening up again a first edition booster box, then there might be, you know, another tempest upon us of vintage cards. But you can just buy this card either way. I believe either way, this card, there's a low risk to buying it. Charmander is one of the faces, and obviously Pokemon cards could just be going up and up and up over time, slowly or fast. Who really knows? Anyways, price chart says this card is still like a $200 in shadowless. The first edition, though, I believe is way more expensive, obviously, even though the population isn't that much lower than the shadowless and the regular one as well. You can basically buy anything you want on Charmander, the regular mint copies, and I think they're all gonna get impacted if what I am saying about this possible event comes true. Let's go on to the next card. We're going into Neo Genesis. I'm gonna go and show you Chikorita from Neo Genesis first edition. A very affordable card, about $4, many copies of $3 to $4. This Chikorita thing is, we are going to be getting Pokemon Legends ZA, and one of the starters in that game is Chikorita. Now, Totodile is also another starter, and the thing is that Chikorita, well, I think Chikorita deserves more love, but besides that, this is the first depiction of the TCG with Chikorita. And first edition is very affordable, in my opinion, so, and especially as a near mint. So basically, let's see the PSA 10s. The PSA 10s are not super high, 139 for the other version of Chikorita, but this one right here, I think the other version is a little weirder than this one. This one is more classic. Consider buying that one for the upcoming game. If you're a fan of, there could be way more fans of Chikorita. Honestly, when I was playing Gold and Silver, I was a big fan of, I was a big fan of all of them. I was a big fan of Totodile, Cyndaquil, Chikorita. I loved all of them. I think the first one of mine was Chikorita, though. But anyways, that's my explanation. We're gonna go into Ruby Sapphire Generation 3 with Mudkip. Oh, man, I'm showing a lot of starters, but really the starters are just the best things to buy, to be honest. Mudkip, it has had massive memes about it. Mudkip is really one very iconic Pokemon. A lot of people know Mudkip. Basically, the normal version of Mudkip goes for around $1.50, very cheap. You can buy that for your collection, but personally I would go for a reverse holo, because the reverse holo in Ruby Sapphire is very, very clean, very nice to look at, and basically there are way lower listings for the reverse holo. You can just see 4 in TC Player. You can probably find more on eBay. Basically, reverse holos for a lot of cards are really nice to buy, and it's only like $14. It's really not that big of a purchase. As you can see in a 10, these are pretty much non-existent as reverse holos in 10s. So honestly, I can't even show you a price for 10s because they probably don't even exist. So yeah, Mudkip, nice little pickup from Ruby Sapphire, a card that is probably forgotten, Ruby Sapphire Base Set. And let's go on to the next generation, Generation 4, with Platinum. Platinum is the one where Arceus, or actually Giratina, is the big boy in Platinum. He's the legendary in the Pokemon Platinum games. There are 2 Giratinas that I wanted to show, but we'll show this one because this one is more readily available. This is the, not the origin form Giratina, this is the overworld form. His regular centipede form. We have a bunch of copies at a nice little affordable $4 to $5, $6 range. I think it's a nice card to get. Honestly, I would love to show you the reverse foil. Actually, yeah, there actually is 2 copies of the reverse foil, $11 and $14. I would also pick those up if it's possible, because the reverse, like I said, also for Diamond and Pearl is really nice. We can see Giratina here, right here. PSA 10s are practically non-existent. They're barely ever graded as well. So these are nice cards that could obviously go up in price. I mean, you guys already saw how explosive Giratina was in V-Star Universe, Crown Zenith, Lost Origin, Lost Abyss. Basically listed the Japanese and the English names. So yeah, that's basically Giratina, my pick for Generation 4. Now, Generation 4 Heartgold SoulSilver is a different thing. It's kind of like what's going to happen now with Mega Evolutions. We are going to be having Mega Evolution subset after... I don't know if to call it a subset, a Mega Evolution set after Scarlet Violet, because the Scarlet Violet is going to end now with Black and White, the Black and White sets that got announced, and then we're going to Mega Evolutions because of the Pokemon Legends ZA game, which I was talking about earlier. But anyways, this is Heartgold SoulSilver, which came after Diamond and Pearl. I'm going to show you Flareon Undaunted. Honestly, I was looking at the evolutions, and this is the cutest, most eye-appealing evolution I could find. The Flareon. You already know Umbreon and Espeon get the most attention, but this Flareon, though, this Flareon is just unique, is so cute, and so affordable as well. Near mint copies going for just $4. Not that crazy for a set that is very hard to find, especially in the near mint version. Only 10 listings in the regular near mint. And for reverse foil, we actually have 1 listing at $37. Now, I would honestly, man, I would love a PSA 10 version. Unfortunately, the PSA 10s are also almost non-existent. So basically, you can almost make your own market for a card like this in reverse foil. I imagine that goes the same way for a lot of cards, but honestly, I think evolutions are obviously one of the most talked about cards, one of the most sought after cards. So I definitely think this Flareon, you can at least buy the near mint copies and be happy with having it in your collection. We're going into Generation 5 Black and White, the set that is going to be releasing after Destined Rivals, you know, all the 156 illustrationers and special illustrationers. This is one of my favorite cards in the Black and White base set. Into Serperior, which is actually going to be the only starter in that new Black and White set we are getting that is going to be getting a special illustration rare. All the other ones are getting illustration rares. So Serperior is going to get a little bit more attention. Probably going to be more expensive than the other two because of the rarity, extra rarity of the special illustration rare. And this is one of my favorite looking cards in Black and White base. I like it a lot more. Serperior is easily my favorite starter out of the 3 from Black and White. Easily. They do not come close to Serperior. I love how majestic Serperior is. But anyway, Serperior is also very affordable. The holofoil near mints go for like $2. Nothing too crazy. Very consistently $2. And yeah, I think it's a nice card. And for the PSAs, practically non-existent, almost non-existent. So you can basically make your own market if you have one of those. I think it's super underrated. I really like Serperior. Serperior is such a nice card, and that is my pick for Black and White. We are now going into X and Y, and honestly, at this point, I think it's tradition that I pick a Pikachu, an underrated Pikachu. Last time we picked a Pikachu from Crimson Invasion Sun and Moon. Now we're gonna pick one from X and Y, and it is from the X and Y base set. Pikachu, a very cute Pikachu, and there's 58 listings, which is quite sizable, to be honest, quite sizable. But honestly, I think over time people just are gonna want, and I feel like over time we're gonna get a bigger and bigger fan base every time Pokemon explodes. Right now we are undergoing a Pokemon explosion, but obviously it will cool down, and I think over time we will get more and more people into the hobby and more people interested in older cards, which Pikachu is one of the most eye-catching ones in my opinion. The near mint copies, you know, go for like less than $1, which is nice. Very affordable, very low risk. And there's also reversible you can also get, which for X and Y is not a bad pattern, though I wouldn't honestly get it because the regular one is much more expensive, and I mean this Pikachu is easier to get than older cards that I showed, like Mudkip and Giratina, which are, you know, much harder to get than an X and Y card. But anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of copies in near mint of this. I would definitely pick some up if you want. You know, that's not a bad decision. It's actually either very low risk, very easy, very affordable. Let's go on to the next generation, which is Generation 7. I would like to revisit Rayquaza, a very fan favorite Pokemon. One thing I found about Celestial Storm, Rayquaza, the most expensive Rayquaza card, was $89. And that Rayquaza, that same Rayquaza, has now gone up to $131. So you can see how Rayquaza is one of the Pokemon that has the most potential to be going up in price, especially because it's one of the most fan favorite Pokemon. And you can even see this right here. March, this card was $7, and it's already going up to like $9, which I believe over time is going to be going up even more. Lugia GX from the Lost Thunder set is a $20 card, so I can definitely see this card being easily a $20 card. And basically, I think it's a low risk. It's a nice, beautiful Rayquaza. And yeah, basically you can find many copies of it at around this price. I would definitely be getting Rayquaza in a 10. Rayquaza is 242 in a PSA 10, and it goes for quite a lot in a PSA 10. I was looking up on eBay. Yeah, this card is going for quite a lot in a PSA 10 as well. Well, honestly, I would just get the near mint copies personally. It doesn't seem like it's super hard to grade because there's 242 in a 10 and then the 193 in a 9. So it's not super hard to grade in a 10 apparently, especially for those who tried. So I would definitely just get the near mint. I think the near mint has way more upside potential to grow. And that is going to be my pick for Generation 7. We're going into Generation 8. Sword and Shield's going crazy. What am I going to pick? We're going to pick Gengar. Gengar, another fan favorite. As you can see, I'm going for the fan favorites that are kind of underrated, because those are the ones that will probably like be looked at in case people forgot and want to look further into their favorite Pokemon, which Gengar is one of the most fan favorited Pokemon, no doubt about that. Gengar here, a very cool Gengar at that. Very cool artwork of Gengar holofoil from the base Sword and Shield set. The base Sword and Shield was one of the first booster boxes to go up in price because of the scarcity of them, compared to the demand where people went crazy, and Pokemon didn't reprint as much for the demand. They kind of focused on the other sets like Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, when all the boom was happening. So, and all the scalping and everything. So Pokemon wanted to focus more on the more newer sets, and they forgot about Sword and Shield Base. So Sword and Shield Base has been going up. And it's not because it's a crazy set. It's just because of the scarcity. A lot of people bought cases of it, and basically the demand was high for anything Pokemon related, and it just kind of stayed high. So we have Gengar from X and Y, so from Sword and Shield Base. Sword and Shield Base is a set with not a lot of value. I think the most expensive card is Snorlax VMAX, which is only like a $40-something card, which is not bad, honestly. But it's not a super crazy artwork. Now, Gengar here is super low risk, and has nothing but to gain, especially if Gengar cards keep going up in price. We have Gengar with $1, $1.40, $2. Not too bad for sure. And I just brought up the PSA 10s. It's 196, which is not bad as well. And it really only goes for like $45. Honestly, I would pick up the 10 if you want. If you want, get the 10 as well. I think this is also a nice card that would be very nice for a collection and would go up in price. Definitely think, but though I would definitely get a lot of copies of this Gengar. Thankfully, there are a ton of them, because I love Gengar, and getting a whole binder page of them would be really nice. Or you can just get one. Just get one. I can definitely see this card being like $5, which is, you know, quite the upside. I can see this card being $5 in the future. So anyways, that's Gengar, of course. Nothing much else to say about that. We are going into the first generation, which is the one we're at now, the 9th generation, Scarlet Violet. Okay, Journey Together. Journey Together. Now, Journey Together, the set that just came out and is already kind of being forgotten about. Scalper is kind of just dumping it. It's still a little too expensive to open, in my opinion. But this Articuno here, I think, is appropriately priced. I think this Articuno is easily the coolest looking card in the set, in my opinion. It is a pretty much like the only Gen 1 big boy card, illustration or slash special illustration related. I think this card is the one that is going to be getting the most attention in the future out of this set. I thought the same thing about Shrouded Fable with Persian. So I always thought Persian from illustration was going to be the most expensive card. Technically, I think it's still battling Pheasantipity, but Pheasantipity special illustration is only expensive because of the playability. Persian, though, has no playability. It's only collectible. It's only the collectible perspective. This Articuno, though, I think can easily, well, not easily, but it does. There is a chance that this Articuno will catch the attention of the Poke investors, or whatever you want to call them, the Illuminati of the Pokemon that manipulate the market and stuff like that. Basically, I think this Articuno can overtake all of this. I think it's going to be more expensive than Volcanion EX for sure. I think it's going to be more expensive than Hobzation, more expensive than Iona's Belly Bolt. And now these, oh yeah, Salamence EX. I think Salamence EX, personally, I wouldn't buy it. I think Salamence EX will drop like to like maybe $60 or something. That's my prediction. I think Articuno, though, will be rising in the future, and $24 is not a bad price to buy it. It is one of the coolest cards in this set. Now, I don't know if it's going to beat Lily's Clefairy, but honestly, this could be a Magikarp situation where it was a battle between the special illustration rare trainer card Iono versus Magikarp. Iono was the most expensive card for a while, and then Magikarp overtook her. Basically, I mean, Lily is more of a fan favorite character, and Clefairy not so much. But Articuno, though, actually, you know what? I kind of said Articuno was the only first gen fan favorite here, but Clefairy is too. Though, you know, I still think Articuno could overtake most of these cards in the top space in Journey Together. So I definitely think Articuno is a good card to pick up at this price. I picked up Persian from Shrouded Fable months before the boom happened at around this price, and it doubled already. So I definitely think Articuno is a card that is a little slept on right now and could easily go up in price. Well, anyways, guys, there it goes. Everything, a card from pretty much every generation. I thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys maybe think about some things, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Now be sure to always cool